Hey everyone! Today we're going to continue working on our small moment narrative where we have been taking one experience in our lives and stretching that really small moment into a really detailed and long writing. So this week you have focused on perfecting the beginning and the middle of your story, and then yesterday you wrapped up that twist. So at this point you have introduced your reader to what's going on and what the situation is. You've told them all of the events leading up to your exciting moment, and then you told them what is the big event, what was the big scare, or the big, what made you happy, or what's the exciting part, the climax of the story. So today what we're going to focus on is bringing all of that to a conclusion. So taking everything that has happened in our story so far and kind of resolving it and bringing it to an end that doesn't leave our reader hanging. Okay, so we're going to reread through my draft today, and I want you to watch as I think through how can I take what I just told my reader and bring it to an end so they're not confused or left with questions after they read my story. Okay, so we're going to start at the beginning. The sun was beaming on my yellow bike as I heard my brother and his friends yell at me to catch up. We were riding our bikes down the biggest hill in the neighborhood. The boys had been teasing me all day that I wasn't as good of a bike rider. I was going to prove them wrong today. All four of us rode our bikes up to the top of the biggest hill in the neighborhood. We all turned our bikes around and looked at the hill ahead. It looked like a straight drop. First, my brother, the courageous one, leapt onto his pedals and pushed himself down the hill. It looked like he was riding 100 miles per hour. As soon as he was gone, the other boys turned to me and started pointing. "You'll never do it, Stacy. You're a chicken." But when they said that, it made my face turn bright red because I was upset. I wasn't going to let it stop me. I jumped on my pedals and flew down the hill. I had to be going faster than my brother. It was not long before the front wheel of my bike hit the ramp. As I rode over the ramp, my bike flew so high in the air I thought I could touch the sky. I was sure that I would land to show those boys who were teasing me that I was a good bike rider just like them. All of a sudden, boom! I did not land on the wheels. I landed smack dab on my face. I could feel the blood coming out of my knees and my nose. Okay, so I've got through my exciting moment. So now I need to think, okay, so what happened right after I landed and realized I was actually really hurt? How did I solve that problem? Because that's the major challenge I'm facing here in this story. That's the big thing that my reader is waiting to see. How am I going to overcome this? Right after I fell, I was in so much pain, so I started crying. But my brother, since he was already at the bottom of the hill, flew towards me. And when he did that, he was yelling for my mom and my dad because I was just crying. So I guess my mom heard him and she came running out and she picked me up and she brought me inside and she put band-aids on me and ended up helping me feel better. So that's kind of how the story unraveled in real life. So I need to think about how am I going to put that into words so that my reader can understand that and my reader knows exactly what I'm talking about. So I could feel the blood coming out of my knees and my nose. Immediately, I felt tears running down my face. It hurt so bad. My brother ran as fast as he could to help me while screaming for my mom and dad. Okay, so that's the very, very next thing that happened. So what happened right after he was calling my mom? It felt like forever, but it couldn't have been that long. My mom ended up coming outside. She heard. So not long after, my mom flew out of the house because she had heard my brother screaming. As soon as she saw me, no, I don't like that. As soon as I saw her, I started feeling better. My mom always made me feel better when I was hurt. She scooped me up, brought me inside, and cleaned up my scrapes and cuts. Now, I've told my reader kind of how I solved that problem. So now I need to think about what is the last thing I'm going to say to kind of shut this story down. Because my story can't go on and on forever. The focus of my small moment story here is me getting hurt falling off of my bike from that ramp. That's the only thing I can talk about in this story because that's the small moment. So I don't want to go into, we after she gave me band-aids, we ate dinner and I had, mac and cheese, which was my favorite, so it made me happy. Like, I don't need to tell my reader all of that because that doesn't have anything to do with me getting hurt. So I need to just bring that part to an end. So after telling my reader that she scooped me up, brought me inside, and cleaned up my scrapes and cuts, I think that the best way to end this is to tell my reader how I felt about not only getting hurt, but the fact that I was trying to prove something to those boys. I think I'm going to say, even though I didn't land, I think those boys knew how tough I was because they were like, oh, Stacy got so hurt. Oh my God. Like, it kind of gave me some credit, So I think that's how I'm going to end my story. So I'm going to say, okay, she scooped me up, brought me inside, and cleaned up my scrapes and cuts. Even though I got hurt, I think I proved my point to those mean neighborhood boys. I was a tough, awesome bike rider. The end. So I didn't say anything about anything else that happened after that. I stopped it right there because after my big exciting moment, I just want to wrap it up. So as you are writing today, be thinking about how did you bring your story to a close? How did this challenge or whatever you were facing in your story, how did you bring it to an end? And then stop there. Just be mindful that you're not just continuing to go on and on, especially if your story is not necessarily very long. Just because it's not long doesn't mean that it's not good. So don't feel like you have to write a super duper long story like mine is. Don't feel like you have to write paragraph after paragraph. Just tell what this happened in the story and leave it at that. Okay? I'm here if you have any questions. Good luck. I cannot wait to read your final stories.